Mom Hacks, episode number 58. My name is Krista, and I'm your host. It's March 13th, 2024, and spring is just around the corner, starting next Tuesday, actually. So, in the spirit of purging, organizing, and doing a little spring cleaning, today I'm thrilled to have my friend Kristy Edwards on the podcast with us. After spending most of her career as a nanny, she is now the owner and founder of Neatly Balanced, a home organizing company based here in Nashville, Tennessee, with the purpose of giving back to local organizations helping those in need. During our chat, she reflects back on her years as a nanny, sharing some of her top tricks of the trade for getting our little ones to help with chores, meal prep, and tidying up. She also tells us about an exciting event she has coming up for those of you here in the Nashville area. So make sure you listen all the way to the end of the episode for those details. Even if you're not located in Middle Tennessee, however, you are going to walk away from our conversation with helpful, actionable tips for keeping your home organized and streamlined. And if you like what you hear about Kristy's services, know that she helps clients all across the US. But before we get into that, I just want to say thanks for tuning in, Mama. I started this podcast because babies don't come with instructions. As of this recording, I am chasing around a 5-year-old that no amount of Googling, mom groups, or books were able to prepare me for. There's a lot of stuff people don't talk about when it comes to pre pregnancy, during pregnancy, and postpartum. And as someone who was previously terrified of all of the above, I'm here to help you pull back the curtain on all of it. And every now and then, it may get a little messy. We may share a little TMI, but that's why you're here, right? My goal is you will leave every episode feeling refreshed, inspired, and hopeful, knowing you are not on this mom journey alone. Now, there's a lot of subject matter to cover when it comes to mom life, and we are covering it all. So let's dive into my conversation with Kristy Edwards of Neatly Balanced. Kristy, I am thrilled to have you on Secret Mom Hacks with me. Welcome.
Thank
We
you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited too.
we have known each other now for I don't even know how long. It's been a while.
I was thinking about that actually earlier this morning. I know it's been at least 15 years. I don't really
Yes.
remember how much longer than that,
I
but
don't either. It's
between
been
15 and
interesting.
20 years. Yeah, it's crazy.
And we've both seen each other go through different
Woo!
iterations of our careers and professional lives and personal lives and
Yes,
all of that. It's always exciting when I can reconnect with a friend
I
and
know.
bring them onto the pod and talk about all the secret mom hacks that we're going to spill today.
Well, yeah, I'm excited. Thank you.
Well, Kristy, let's dive right into the questions. So, your experience as a former nanny and now the owner of Neatly Balanced gives you some unique insights into family dynamics. So, tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about what inspired you to delve into home organization, particularly for families.
It started, like you mentioned, being a nanny. I used to be a tour nanny in the music industry, and it just sort of very organically started with us being home a couple days a week and me helping clean out toys and clothes and things as we were in town before we left again during the unpacking and packing phases. And it just sort of carried and trickled over from there. And I've always been like a neat freak. Even as a kid, I can remember, all of my Barbie dolls had to be in a particular place. All of my baby dolls or stuffed animals had a certain spot on the bookcase they went. Like, I've always been, a very neat and put together person. I was never the one my parents had to say, go clean up your mess. But I would say the idea for Neatly Balanced started probably right after my father passed away. He passed away very unexpectedly in 2010. And my mom and dad's church planned a mission trip to Honduras, to a very remote village in Honduras in 2011 that initially my mom, sister, and I were not planning to go on, but we kind of got word that they were going to be building a chapel. And one of my dad's good friends had just personally requested that the chapel be named in memory of my dad. And when we found that out, just, obviously we were like, well, we need to be there for that. And we went on this missions trip, and I experienced poverty that I had never in my naive little corner of the world didn't realize was actually a thing. I mean, you hear these stories, but I was like, that stuff happens in third world countries, and I will never encounter that. And we spent 6 days sleeping on cement slabs with tarps put over the top of these little huts in case it rained. There were critters, there was animals. I mean, it was just literally living in the wild for 6 days. And there were about 20 of us, and there was one outhouse that we all shared. There was no showers, there was no bathing. I mean, it was definitely roughing it. And I witnessed these little kids come from just literally the hills, and they were barefoot. Half of them had on no shorts or pants. They were in the same shirt every day. And I just, like, my heart broke. But then all of that sort of kind of came to like the grand finale, I guess, on our last day there. We went to this market to get souvenirs or things we wanted to take back home with us. And I went into a bakery because I was just hungry, and I was like, "Look, I've had black beans and rice and plantains for 6 days, and I just want some bread. Like that sounds really good right now." And I went into this bakery and met a mother who was holding a baby, and I asked if I could hold the baby. And when she realized I was American, she starts crying, and she handed me her baby, and she walked out of the bakery. And through a translator, he explained to me that she was trying to give me her child because she realized I was American and knew that her child would have a better life with me in America. And that just wrecked me. And, I mean, I sobbed for the next 5 hours, pretty much convulsing. My mom was like, "You have got to breathe, like, pull it together." And upon arriving back in America, just something inside of me kind of snapped, and I got really angry. And I just said, Americans are very spoiled. We have 16 of everything. We live in, 5,000 square foot houses, and we all drive 5 cars, and we all carry designer purses. And these people literally had nothing. And I just was like, how can I fix this? So that was sort of the idea for Neatly Balanced right then and there on the concourse of the airport in Charlotte. I started researching, I started volunteering at organizations around Nashville to just sort of learn more about what they did. And it just grew and grew and grew until I finally launched an official business in the spring of 2020.
Just so our listeners are clear, because we have listeners all around the world,
Yeah.
but you help clients in Nashville. You have traveled to help clients, though, right?
Yeah, we travel nationwide, and currently we have clients in 6 states that we regularly work with, and we're always looking to expand. So, yes, we do travel nationwide.
Okay, excellent. This is what I love, the beauty of business these days. Just
Yeah,
because you're located in one environment doesn't mean that you can't help somebody in other environments as well.
sure. Yeah.
So, love that, thanks to technology and cheap flights, right? Looking out for those travel deals
Yes,
and all of
exactly.
that. Well, okay, so balancing work, school, and different activities can so often leave families feeling overwhelmed,
Mhm.
myself included. What are some simple yet effective organization tips that you can recommend to help families maintain a neat and stress free environment?
I have always believed in getting the kids involved. I mean, I've nannied for everything from like 2-day-old children coming home from the hospital till, they were 16 or 17 and going off to college. And I just have always believed in raising kids the way I was raised. And it was, if you can walk, you can help. My parents were always like, you got 2 hands and 2 feet, it might just be a bottle of water, but you can carry something in the house and help. And I've always carried that over into kids I've nannied. The cute little like clean up, everybody everywhere, like that
Yes,
little
oh,
cleanup
we are
song.
very familiar with that
Yeah,
song.
I mean, I started singing that to kids as they were babies and were crawling around, and would sort of hand a baby a toy and say, "Okay, put it in the basket. Let's put it in the basket." And then clap your hands and, "Yay, that's amazing for putting the one truck in a basket." And I would literally start when they were 6 months, 8 months, 9 months old. As soon as they could hold something, I would hold them up to the toy bin or the basket and say, okay, let's put it away. I definitely think there's something to that because every kid I have ever nannied have had responsibilities that I've given them, like, hey, you got to put up your books before you can get out the blocks, or sure, we can play that game, but first we got to put all the baby dolls back in their little house. So definitely get your kids involved. My suggestion is always do it based on their age. So if they're 2, tell them they have to pick up 2 toys and put them away. If they're 6, I say you have to pick up 6 toys and put them away. And same thing when it comes to cleaning out your closets and your toy boxes. The big component to Neatly Balanced is we focus on not just organizing, but cleaning out any and everything that you're no longer using. And then we donate that to organizations that help those less fortunate. So it goes kind of hand in hand with cleaning up, but also cleaning out. When it's time to get rid of toys or clothes that your kids are no longer playing with, I say, okay, you're 5, so let's pick out 5 toys and 5 books. And then let's go to your closet and let's pick out 5 shirts or 5 pants or 5 pajamas that don't fit you anymore. And let's give those because there are some kids that don't have any toys. And we're going to take this and give this to them and help them have something. So I think just putting it on an elementary level where kids can understand makes all the difference.
That's a really good point. Let's talk about streamlining and decluttering. So, we're talking about, of course, families accumulate a lot of stuff. So,
Yeah.
certainly including kids in the, I love what you mentioned about if you can walk, you can help. I think that's really, really, again, I wish I would have had that in the back of my mind as she was little, but I also had a whole lot going on her first year of life. So, but let's talk about, I guess, on that, just a consistent basis, how can families streamline and declutter living spaces, making it more manageable for everyone in the house?
I always say start small and just do one thing a day. A lot of times I know there's the whole like January purge or spring cleaning, things like that, cleaning out at the end of the year, whatever. It can feel daunting and overwhelming to take a Saturday and say, "Okay, this entire day we're going to clean out the house." Well, that doesn't sound fun to you or your husband or your kids. I mean, nobody wants to just be like, great, a whole day of cleaning. And truth be told, 99.9% of the time, it falls to the woman. Whether you're married, whether you're a mother, whether you're a CEO of a Fortune 500 company, like pretty much household stuff falls more to the female than it does the male. And trying to get the whole family on board is challenging. I always say never give up, like always try. But if you start where, okay, I'm at home and I have an hour, okay, well, awesome. I'm just going to go through the kitchen and I'm going to pull out all the drawers, look at the serving utensils, you look at the ladles, look at the whisks, like look at the bowls and cups and servingware. I mean, we all have a bunch of all that stuff. And I always say if you're putting it up on the very top shelf, you probably don't even need to have it in the first place because chances are when the time comes once every 2 years you need that item, you're going to forget that it's up there and you're going to end up going and buying it again anyway. So I'm always like, you can put the slow cooker on the top shelf, but if you're not going to use it, just give it to somebody who would use it every day. But start there. And then the next week, you're like, okay, well, everybody's gone and the house is quiet. Perfect. I'm going to clean out the master closet. And then a couple weeks after that, okay, well, let's maybe see if my husband could tackle the garage while the kids are over to sleep over, and I'll clean out all the kids' rooms. And I just think number one, it's way easier if you do it yourself. Again, I'd always encourage kids to get involved, but they're going to throw a fit. They're going to not want to get rid of anything. They're going to get distracted. They're going to want to go play with their friends or their siblings. So get them to start with you, but then it is always easier if you just do it yourself, honestly. And yeah, don't go into it trying to tackle the whole house in one day. Just start small, do one room a day, one corner a day, one section of your office. It doesn't have to be this daunting task that takes 27 hours to do.
It's funny. I can't remember. There's some meme out there that talks about how it's asking a lot for the entire house to be clean. Okay, when you come over,
Yes,
if the living room and dining room are clean, the bedrooms probably aren't. Okay, like
right.
the bedrooms and the bathroom, because it's like
100%.
there's there's only so much time in the day, and yeah. So to take one room one room a day, or even a section of one room. If that's a really big room, there's a lot of stuff going on in there.
Yeah.
Truly, by the time you make it to all the rooms in the house, it's like, okay, well, that first room, it needs to be addressed again.
Yeah.
It's
Well, and I always
impossible to get
say
the whole
too, I
house.
mean, sure, all of us have our preferences. I mean, would I like to have my closet color coordinated? Sure, yeah, that'd be amazing. But especially in terms of kids, it goes back to what I was saying before. If you can walk, you can help. And so I find with the last kids I nannied, they would always be like, "Can we watch a show?" And I would say, "You know what? I'm going to start cooking dinner. You go upstairs to the bonus room or to the playroom or to your bedroom, wherever your kids' most things are." And I'm like, "You clean up your room, okay? All the toys have to get put away and they need to go where they belong. You know where things go. Come and get me when you've finished and I'll come look. Once everything is clean, you can watch a show." Well, and like the first couple times they'd be like, "Everything's clean." And I would go up there and I'm like, "What are all these pillows still all over the floor? Okay, why are your baby dolls sitting up in front of the TV or whatever?" And I'm like, "This is not, nope, nope, try again." And they would quickly realize I wasn't playing and it wasn't just if you put two things away, you can go watch TV. I was actually going to come and check. And so once they realized, oh, well, we're just like prolonging before we can watch TV, then they actually got busy doing it. And I also tried to give them a break and was like, okay, you know what? The blocks are mixed in with the trucks. But you know what? Everything is out of sight. It's all in the cubby or it's all in the box. And I think that kind of comes into where we as caregivers have to let some things go. It's never going to be perfect. So I'm like, you know what? If the baby dolls are mixed in with the ball pit, okay, it's still off the floor and I'm not going to step on a Lego when I'm trying to get to the other end of the room. So it's fine. But
Yes.
I give them some responsibility. Number one, it makes them feel responsible and it makes them feel older and mature to be like, I'm helping. And also, it helps you. It gives you less to have, that you have to do. So,
Sure. Let's talk meal planning, because I know on your website you have some great recipes that are healthy, that
yeah,
are quick and easy. And meal planning certainly can be a struggle for lots of busy
yeah.
families. But let's talk about how an organized pantry and effective kitchen organization can contribute to simplifying meal preparation and creating a more efficient routine.
Definitely. And yeah, I love that you mentioned that. It's definitely a passion of mine to be healthy. But again, I think we all need a cheat day. So, yeah, 99% of the time I'm having a spinach salad with oil and vinegar dressing for dinner and my husband is having like grilled chicken and some vegetables or something. We're pretty healthy eaters. I know that that's harder when you have kids, but I also say your kids eat what you eat. And so if your kids see you eating chicken or a salad every night, and then you're like, okay, you can have chicken nuggets or a turkey sandwich or whatever it is. I mean, it can be semi healthy. You don't have to give your kids sushi every night, but you can also not give them pizza every night either. There's a balance there. And so one thing I always did was going back to the age. I was like, okay, you're 4, you have to eat 4 bites. You're 7, you have to eat 7 bites. And I would always make sure and put something healthy on the plate. Like if they asked for a turkey sandwich, I'm like, okay, and what kind of fruit do you want? We have grapes, we have strawberries, we have bananas. Do you want all of those? Do you want some of a little bit of each? What do you want? You're always going to get that kid that's picky or the kid that legitimately isn't hungry or wants to play or whatever. I think it's easier sometimes when you're not the mom. Kids always save their worst behavior for their moms, so I understand that. It was always a little bit easier for me being the nanny because they didn't really talk back or argue the way they would with the mom. But I would always say, "Okay, you're not hungry. Well, that's fine. I'm going to stick this in the fridge, and then when you are hungry, this is what you have to eat." So, you're not going to come down in an hour and decide you didn't want that, but you want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I don't care how easy it is to make, you're going to eat what you asked for because I made what you asked for. So, and then also if they said, "I'm full, but I want a cookie," I would always say, "Okay, you're having mac and cheese and chicken and fruit, you can leave all the mac and cheese. That is the least healthy thing on your plate. I don't care if you don't eat any of it. You have to eat 4 bites of the chicken and you have to eat all of your fruit. And then you can leave what's left." Or I would say you can leave what's left and you can have a small cookie, but you can't have the cookie and the ice cream. And then if you come back later and you want to clean your plate and have clean plate club, is what I always called it, then you can have the ice cream later. But you have to eat what's healthy before you get what the treat is. And so I think that goes a long way in terms of meal prep, because if you're giving your kids an option, like we can do spaghetti or chicken tenders or a turkey sandwich, then you give them that autonomy of picking what they want, but you're only giving them healthy ish options. And when I would cook, I would buy the, like, I forget the brand, but it was like this, like the pasta noodles that are made with lentils or made with vegetables. So it was a healthier version. And
Mhm.
sometimes it would be green. And instead of them being like, ew, it's green, I'm like, ooh, it's monster pasta, or if it was red, I'd be like, oh, look, it's red, like, flowers. Or I would turn it into something positive instead of like, you're eating vegetable pasta. So, again, it's that, like, Jessica, I think it was Jessica Seinfeld that wrote The Deceptively Delicious. I'm like, there's ways to get your kids to eat healthy that doesn't have to be like, hey guys, you're eating peas and carrots. You can give them chicken nuggets that the breading is made out of. I saw this in the store the other day. It was chicken nuggets, but the breading is made out of crushed and mashed up cauliflower. So they're getting the chicken, but
Interesting.
instead of bread, they're getting mashed up cauliflower as like the breading. So I was like, okay, there's ways to make even chicken tenders a little healthier. I know it's harder for families, but my husband and I always take one day of the week and go to the store. We've sat down, planned out, we're going to cook 3 times this week. And we figured out all the ingredients we needed for those 3 meals. We would go to the store, usually on Sunday afternoons after church. We would get all the ingredients, come back, and we would meal prep at least the first meal. So we would come back, turn on football or turn on some fun music, and we would cook a meal together and then maybe eat it and then put the leftovers in the fridge. And we were like, okay, if tomorrow we end up not feeling like cooking, we have this for leftovers. If we decide we don't want this, then that means we have to cook. And then we just only ended up having to go to the store once because we get everything we needed for the week. And that just made it a lot easier.
Mhm. Yes, any way to plan ahead, whether it's on the weekend or Monday night, like cooking that meal and having those leftovers or whatever,
Yeah,
it just makes life so much easier because
it
then you're
does.
not left, okay, here's Wednesday morning. What are we going to send in lunches or what are we going to have
Mhm.
for dinner tonight? You've thought ahead and you're not making impulse decisions.
For sure.
Now, let's take a quick break. Hey, Secret Mom hackers. Are you a budget savvy family looking for a financial tool that can help you take control of your spending and savings? Well, I've got something fantastic to share with you. Cube Money. Cube Money is the ultimate budgeting solution that's tailor-made for families who want to manage their money with ease and precision. Here's why our family loves it. It's just like the envelope system we all know, but digitized. Imagine the simplicity of old school envelope budgeting, but with a modern twist. Cube Money digitizes the envelope system, allowing you to allocate funds to specific spending categories right from your smartphone. It's like having a set of virtual envelopes for groceries, entertainment, and more, all in one app. The whole family benefits. Cube Money isn't just for individuals. It's designed to accommodate the needs of your entire family. You can set up sub-accounts for your spouse and kids, helping everyone stay on the same financial page. It's a powerful tool for teaching financial responsibility to your children. Stress-free savings. Planning for the future is a breeze with Cube Money. You can easily allocate funds for savings goals, whether it's a family vacation, a new home, or an emergency fund. It's all about turning your financial dreams into reality. So if you're ready to simplify your family's budgeting, track your spending with precision, and achieve your financial goals, give Cube Money a try. Visit their website at Cube Money to learn more. That's QUBE money.com to learn more and use the discount code SECRETMOMHACKS, all one word, SECRETMOMHACKS, to get 2 months of their premium or family plans for free. Cube Money, on a mission to see you live more and worry less. Try Cube Money today. Now back to the show. Okay, going back to toys and clutter.
Yeah.
Certainly, we can relate to this question with toys quickly taking over a house. So I know what we have done, but I'm curious what your strategies are for organizing and storing toys in a way that's both accessible for children yet is maintaining a tidy, clutter-free area.
Yes, I tell everybody this. You have to start small. And if you start when you're a kid, people laugh, but I'm like, no, I'm for real. I've done this with every kid I've ever nannied. When they're like 6, 7, 8 months old, I would pick them up and hold them. I would hand them one little ball or one, stuffed animal, something squishy that they could hold. And I would say, okay. And I would hold them over the basket or the bin. And I would say, okay, put the toy away, drop the toy, and would help them like release it and taught them that like it was a little small baby. And I just think it went a long way because by the time they were one, they were so used to me handing them something and saying, okay, let's go put this away, that it was just second nature. But at the same time, I wasn't meticulous about the balls have to go with the balls and the toy dolls have to go with the dolls. And I'm like, just dump it all in there. Your kids, you're going to end up pulling everything out and throwing everything all over the room anyway. So you can't get super picky when they're little. When they're little, just say, you know what, put everything in the one box or the one bin. It's fine. And then when they're 3 or 4, say, okay, let's try to keep the trucks together. Let's try to keep the stuffed animals together. And then certainly as they're older, you can say, okay, go put the baby dolls with the baby dolls. And you can get more separated and more meticulous as they're older. But if you just start saying, put everything out off the floor, I want everything off the floor, put it in the basket or the bin, at least it's teaching them to start somewhere, and that goes a long way as they get older. Something else that I did with kids that I nannied from birth to 4 years old, they got a toy for their birthdays or for Christmas. And then when every single kid turned 5, they got to do a Kristy date. And I would prep them with this from the time they turned 4 all the way that whole year until they turned 5. I would say, okay, now when you turn 5, it's no more toys. You don't get anything else that you unwrap. You get to have a Kristy date, and it's just you and me. You get to pick any two things you want to do. If you have siblings, they can't come. It's just our special time. And it could literally be for, I mean, I literally had kids say, I want to go to my favorite park. I mean, sometimes it was something that didn't cost a dime. Other times, kids were like, I want to go have a cookie and then go to the ice cream shop and get both because it's my birthday and you told me I could pick and I want sugar, sugar, sugar. Other kids
Right.
said, I want to go see a kids movie and I want you to get me popcorn. And so that was the two. We would go to a movie and get popcorn. And so I let the kids pick any two things they wanted to do. And the only restraints was I said, it has to be something that number one, you're allowed to do in the first place. And it has to be something local. We're not traveling, going out of town. You can't pick Disney World, but something here in Nashville or wherever you're located. And then I did the same thing at Christmas. I said, you're going to get a Christmas Christie date. We're going to go to Opryland Hotel and look at the lights, or we're going to go to ICE, or we're going to do something else where it's a Christmas themed activity, but it's a date. And number one, that removes the pressure of spending more money on toys that they don't need and they're not going to play with. And it creates a lasting memory. You would not believe the kids that are now in college or high school that will send me text messages and be like, I remember that year that you took us to the water park or to the whatever, whatever. And like they still remember these things that happened 10 years ago. So just create memories, not clutter.
I love that you brought that up because that's something over the last couple of years. My husband and I were constantly purging things like we've talked about. So, but there's so many things we haven't seen, places we haven't seen, experiences that we haven't had. And
Yeah.
so, over the last couple of years, he and I have said, we don't need anything when it comes to Valentine's Day and birthday
Hmm.
and Christmas. If we want something, we'll get it. We'll figure it out. But for holidays and special occasions, let's create more memories.
Hmm.
Let's have more experiences together.
And I've also noticed that not, I mean, not always, but for the most part, kids' memories start between the time that they're like 4 or 5. I don't really remember a whole lot that happened in my life before I was 4 or 5, but I have very clear memories from that point on. And a lot of the kids I've nannied that I've talked to as they've gotten older, when I'm like, what do you remember? It's everything from 4 and 5 up. And so I was like, let's not waste money doing Disney World or doing even just a memory here in Nashville. Like, let's not waste money on something you're not even going to remember in the first place. But once you get to be 5 and you're able to cognizantly like think about what you want to do and say, this would be a fun memory for me, then yeah, I mean, it's something they're going to remember forever. And you can take pictures or you can make it fun.
So, we've talked a lot about including children in the chores and showing them that if they can walk, they can help,
Yeah.
and keeping things neat and organized. Are there other common issues you see that when it comes to including children in the chores, like any other specific issues that we haven't talked about?
I mean, just their general disinterest in doing it. Yeah. I mean, no kid wants to clean up, no kid wants to help. But if you make it fun or you say, you know what, the sooner we get this done, the sooner we can go to the park, or, it sort of encourages them. I just try to find the fun in everything. I always say, if when people say, who did you want to be like or whatever, I'm always like, when it came to nannying, I truly always wanted to be Mary Poppins. If you think about that movie, she was always very firm, but she was always fun. And she was like, you're not going to cross me, but we're going to have fun every day in everything that we do. And that was what I genuinely would strive for with the kids that I've nannied. It was like, no, these are the boundaries and these are the rules, but you stay within these and we can have so much fun. You just have to be respectful. You have to be kind. You have to obey, and if you don't, we're not going to be able to do these fun things. I think when you're very honest and just like to the point with kids and you let them know like this is and is not going to happen, it's they don't really have a fight because they just know, well, I'm going to lose. Like, we're not going to do this. We are going to do this.
With neatly balanced, you emphasize a holistic approach to home organization. So,
Hmm.
can you share an example or a success story where implementing your organizational strategies and tips that has had a positive impact on a busy family's daily life?
Sure. What comes to mind first is our donation component. And so so yes, we do go in and organize, but our focus is and always has been purging. So we go in and we say, in our process of helping you stay organized and get organized, we're going to remove any and everything that you're no longer using or wanting and give it to someone who lacks it and needs it. So, when you start, like I said before, telling even anybody, a kid or an adult, we're going to take away your things and you're never going to see them again. That's like jarring. You're like, "What? This is I bought this or this is mine." But when you turn it into, "Hey, you know what? This is just getting dusty and you're not wearing this, you're not using this, you're not carrying this handbag, you're not wearing these shoes, your kids aren't playing with those toys, but there's someone who needs this, who would really appreciate it and love it, who doesn't have it at all." Well, that makes me want to just give my house away. I mean, I'm like, what do you mean you don't have shoes? Well, take all of my shoes. And so we've always said that to people when we go in just to even do a consultation. So I think when you keep in mind that the heart behind our business is helping those less fortunate, it's never really a problem to clean out and get rid of because people know we're very intentional with our donations. We never just dump. We take your things, we sort them, and then we actually contact the organizations we work with to say, here's what we have. Could you use this? Would this be of help to you? If so, we'll bring it. And then we very intentionally take what they need so that it is getting handed to them and then they're turning around and handing it to someone in need. And so I think that just goes a long way with everybody and it makes everybody a lot more willing to clean out things they wouldn't necessarily clean out without that knowledge.
Sure. Well, you have a big event coming up here in the Middle Tennessee
We
area in
do.
April. So tell us all about that.
Yeah. So from the beginning, we've had clients ask us about consignment sales and whether it's a pair of Gap jeans or a Prada handbag, sometimes they don't want to just give things away. And they've always asked about that. And we just, up until now, have never done that. We've always only done donations. But a portion of all of our proceeds, ever since I started my business, has been sent back to that remote village in Honduras that I visited in 2011. So we, over the course of 4 years, have been able to help them build 3 additional chapels for them to have places of worship. They now have 4. And we've also funded every back to school item that all the kids in the entire village have needed for 4 years. So whether it's backpacks or school supplies, clothes, shoes, all of it, we've been able to help them take care of all of those needs. And we would like to be able to do that with organizations here in Nashville as well. Up until now, we've only given them tangible items, and there's always things they need to purchase brand new that they need money to buy. So in 2024, we're expanding to consignment closet sales, where the bulk of all proceeds will be given back to the organizations we work with. And there's about a dozen of them we work with now. And so it gives our clients a way for them to make a little bit of money, but the whole focus is that all of us are basically donating our time and our things so that most all of the money raised can be given back to the dozen organizations we work with around Nashville. So it gives people a chance to come and shop both regular items as well as high end luxury items for a fraction of the price. But they also can feel good knowing that the money they spend is going right back to organizations to help those less fortunate.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's really exciting.
I'm excited about it.
Congrats. You've done some really cool stuff, Kristy, and
Thank
that's just
you.
a testament to your vision and your heart to serve people. The fact that that village in Honduras has been able to do the things they have. That's
I know.
incredible.
It's
That's
it's been
really
fun to
exciting.
watch.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell our friends listening where they can find you online and
Yeah.
learn more about you and enlist your help for getting their homes neatly balanced.
Yes, I tell people we work with everybody. We have packages that start at $200 and go all the way up to 5,000. So we literally work with any budget, any home, whatever you need. We can find a way to work with you. And then our website is neatly dash balanced. So neatly dash balanced with a D on the end.com. And then we are on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Neatly Balanced on all three of those. And my email address is also on the website. You can email me, you can do direct message on Instagram, Facebook. There's plenty of ways to reach out. We do offer a free consultation. So even if it's something you want to do in the future, we can come and look at your spaces and kind of give you feedback and thoughts on what we would do and go from there. And then lastly, if you don't need organizing, we also have a service that we offer called porch pickups. It's $25 per carload. So you can organize your own things, pack everything up, put them in a bag or a box, and call us. And we send a Venmo request. You pay via Venmo, and then you can literally just leave your things on your porch, and we'll come by. We'll pick them all up for you, still sort and separate, and donate them on your behalf. And then we email tax deductible donation receipts once we've taken everything. So it's a tax write off. You can see where your things go. If you want to get involved with those organizations, there's contact information on all the receipts. So it's just a great place to start.
Okay, I did not know you did that,
Yeah,
and I am likely going to be enlisting that service.
anytime. Yeah, I totally thought I told you about that. But yeah, we do that.
That's fantastic. Okay, so I'm definitely going to look into that. Well, Kristy, what did I not ask that you wish I would have asked?
Honestly, I think we covered everything except the sale. Our very first sale is going to be on Friday and Saturday, April 5th and 6th. It's going to be at the brand new, not yet open to the public event space called the Maxwell Room. It's adjacent to Nikki's Coal Fired Pizza over in the Nations. So it's going to be Friday night from 5 to 8, and then Saturday the 6th of April from 10 to 1. And we are also going to have VIP tickets available for purchase closer to time. Those will be $25, and you get to shop an hour before the sale opens to the public. And we're going to have some celebrities and influencers there to do like a meet and greet. We're going to have you're going to get a drink ticket. We're going to have some light hors d'oeuvres. So it's just going to be a fun little, intimate hour before the sale opens to the public. But if you don't want to purchase a ticket, then Friday night, 5 to 8, and Saturday all day, it is free and anybody can come.
And those details will also be available. And to purchase tickets, it will be on your website as well. Is that
Yes,
right?
and definitely through Instagram as well. We're most active on Instagram, but
Okay.
yes, we're hoping to have all of that information on the website, but it'll definitely be available through Instagram.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Any other details you want to share before I stop the recording?
No, I think we're good. Thank you. You asked really great questions and questions that I've never been asked in any other podcast. So,
Okay, friend, that's all we have for today's episode. Thanks once again to Kristy for making time to speak with me and being a part of Secret Mom Hacks. Don't forget to check out her socials linked in the show notes at secretmomhacks.com/episode 58. I'm curious what your favorite part of our interview was. I hope you're walking away inspired with tips either for yourself or that new mom you know. If that's the case, please follow me on your favorite podcast platform if you haven't already. Give me a 5-star rating and leave a review sharing your favorite takeaway so far. You can do all of that by going to ratethispodcast.com/secretmomhacks. Don't forget to stop by secretmomhacks.com where you can find transcripts, resources, and more. Stay tuned for next week's episode, and until then, you've got this, mama.